We all know that Scotland has some pretty incredible natural scenery, but did you know that Scotland's cities are pretty incredible to visit as well? Come join me, the Absolute Ranker, as I rank all 8 cities which I personally visited in summer of 2025. Let's go. Number 7 is Inverness, Britain's most northerly city, the capital of the Highlands. Inverness is a relatively new city, given its status in 2000. It has a population of around 48,000, and it is actually one of the fastest growing cities in Europe, and around 25% of folk in the Highlands region live in Inverness. It's located near world famous Loch Ness, famous for its monster of course, and the Cairngorms mountain range just to the south. When I visited in late July, there were a lot of tourists and hotel rooms weren't cheap, so it's just something to bear in mind if you're considering going in the summer. The city is generally pretty nice. Locals are friendly, and most of the buildings are well kept aside from the odd boarded up one. The city itself doesn't have that many attractions. The main one I suppose would be the Inverness Castle, which dates back to 1836 and overlooks the River Ness. It was closed when I visited. It's reopening again late in 2025. During the post-war years, Inverness did suffer due to post-industrialisation, but it's bounced back. The economy is now thriving in comparison to how it was. And not just in regards to tourism, Inverness has a very modern infrastructure for energy, renewable energy especially, and technology. Me personally, I couldn't live here due to the climate and the isolation, but it's a good place to visit, and obviously nature is all around you in Inverness. Now we're off to the Kingdom of Fife. It's number 7, Dunfermline. Scotland's newest city. Matter of fact, it's only been a city since May 2022. Dunfermline has a population of about 77,000 and it's located about 3 miles north of the Firth of Forth. It's a very historic city, but we'll get to that shortly. This is the town centre, which, as you can see, isn't really good nor bad. This was Saturday around 6 p.m. at the time of filming, and there's not many people about. The Wetherspoons, though, was fairly busy inside, as you'd expect. There's a few unoccupied shops and the impressive city chambers at the end of the street, and an accurate depiction of me here the day after indulging in the local Wetherspoons beer festival that was on. Other boozers are available, like the Creepy Wee Pub and the Old Inn here. The cemetery here leads to Dunfermline Abbey and Palace. The Abbey was founded in 1128 but not completed until 1250. The Palace is just ruins now after a tumultuous history of sackings, burnings and collapses. Buried here in the Abbey are, among many others, David I of Scotland, Duncan II of Scotland and Robert the Bruce. You can just go ahead and walk around like I did, but if you're there during the day, like I wasn't, you can go in and take a look inside or have a tour. The Palace and Abbey are close to the city centre and are free to visit. Back in the city centre then, we're heading to Andrew Carnegie's birthplace. This is his modest childhood home, now a museum. In 1848 then, Carnegie emigrated to the USA, made an absolute fortune in steel, becoming one of the world's richest men. He then sold his business in 1901 and dedicated his life to philanthropy. It's founding libraries, educational facilities, peace initiatives and theatres like the Carnegie Hall here. Another of his legacies is Pittergreave Park, one of the best parks in Scotland, that he bought and donated to the people of Dunfermline. What a man. I wonder if when Elon Musk retires, will he do something similar? Outside of Dunfermline, there are lochs and parks like this one, the Town Hill Country Park and the Town Loch. It's not all perfect in Dunfermline. There are some boarded up shops. This is the old cinema that's, as you can see, boarded up. Bring back our cinema. And There isn't actually a single one in the city or its surrounds at all. There is another theatre though, this is the Alhambra Theatre, and that just about covers Dunfermline. Let's head on to the next city. City number 6 is Perth, the city that gave its name to a metropolis down under in Australia. Situated on the River Tay, Perth is in central Scotland with the east coast, the Highlands and the Central Belt all within reasonable distance. Being as it is on this crossroads, Perth is a historic city. In the Middle Ages, the royal seat of Scotland was based here until the assassination of James I, which then led to Edinburgh becoming the capital. The city centre is generally very pleasant to walk around. However, in June 2025, the Royal Bar was caught ablaze with the building being destroyed and tragically a man losing his life. This is Perth Museum, which is free to enter. So Perth is a little bit touristy and you can see why, but it's not overwhelmingly so. The most famous person to have been born in Perth is Hollywood A-lister Ewan McGregor. The local football team is St Johnstone. The stadium is a bit of a way outside of the city, but there is a club shop in the centre. Perth has a reputation for being a quiet place, and it has felt that way on the couple of occasions that I visited. It does have theatres, cinemas, pubs and a couple of clubs. If it's a rainy day, there's plenty of museums and art galleries, that kind of thing. And if it's a sunny day, you can walk along the river, or you can do what I did and get properly outdoors. So Perth is surrounded by nature. I visited Kinnaul Hill, an ancient extinct volcano with stunning views. And there's Kinnaul Hill Tower, which is an 18th century folly. And so that's Perth. It's a nice little city, and I have to say, it looks blooming lovely in the sunshine. Number 5 is Stirling. In the Central Belt, a little north of Edinburgh and Glasgow, Stirling brands itself as the gateway to the Highlands. Robert the Bruce said, "He who holds Stirling holds Scotland." It's quite an impressive city, despite the all year round Christmas shop. It's pretty touristy and not especially large, with a population of the city of around 38,000. Most of the architecture is old and picturesque, with the odd eyesore here and there. The Old Town caters well to tourists with these buildings like the Stirling Highland Hotel and the Old Town Jail, and believe it or not, this here is a hostel. There's all the kind of things you'd expect from a touristy place, like churches and monuments, and you can even do ghost tours. But I bet you weren't expecting to see a pyramid in Stirling. Believe it or not, this was in midsummer. This is a Boer War memorial statue, and this chap is Robert the Bruce in front of the castle here. And way in the distance there is the William Wallace monument, somewhere in the middle. This stone bridge here was the site of a battle won by William Wallace over the English. And coming up now is the neighbouring village of Cambuskenneth. Stirling has only been a city since 2002, and it's a welcome addition to the list of cities. A nice little place, and it's well worth visiting. Number 4, Aberdeen, the Granite City. The granite buildings are the first thing that strike you in Aberdeen. The locally sourced grey stone is ubiquitous in this coastal city. Aberdeen has a population of just over 230,000, making it the third most populous area in Scotland. Aberdeen is home to the 5th oldest university in the English-speaking world, and due to the oil and energy industries, has had one of the largest amount of millionaires per capita of any city in Britain, although this has decreased in recent years. There are quite a few attractions in Aberdeen, and bars, restaurants and clubs. Union Street is the main thoroughfare where you can find tons of shops and restaurants. And Aberdeen also has a fishing heritage. This is Dundee, a former fishing village, a memorial to North Sea divers here, and the North Sea itself on the sandy beach. Back in the city centre, this is the Union Terrace Gardens, pretty much at the top of Union Street. A nice place to hang out on a nice summer's day, as it was. This is Castlegate, which is right at the very top of Union Street, and this is where the old medieval castle would have been. Aberdeen FC are considered to be the third team of Scotland. Their greatest moment was defeating Real Madrid to win the 1983 European Cup Winners' Cup under manager Sir Alex Ferguson. Aberdeen is a bit isolated. The nearest city is Dundee, about 65 miles away. There are one or two ugly buildings, but generally the city is pretty attractive, so long as you don't mind grey, of course. The crime rate isn't too bad, and the nearby coastline is pretty nice, if a little bit on the bracing side. Number 3, Dundee. Possibly not one that many people would put in such a lofty position, but I like Dundee. The waterfront area has had a load of investment and is continuing to be invested in to the tune of £1.6 billion. The RRS Discovery took Captain Scott on his first mission to the Antarctic, and the Victoria and Albert Museum here is free to enter. The waterfront is, without a doubt, the most impressive part of Dundee. The Tay Road Bridge, at 1.4 miles, is one of the longest bridges in Britain. The city is the birthplace of the Beano and Dundee comics you might have read when you was a kid. The D.C. Thompson office is in the city centre, and you can just wander in and take a look around. This is a church, this is a school, and this is a court. There's lots of grand buildings, as you can see, in Dundee. There's a large student population too, so it feels young and it feels lively. The two football teams are Dundee and Dundee United, and they're ridiculously close to each other, only 200 yards down the road in fact, less than a minute's walk away from each other. And they're set right in the heart of the community amongst terrace housing, which is just the way it should be in my books. Now I have to admit there are some scruffy areas, both down by the waterfront and in the city centre, but according to a recent article in the Daily Record, Dundee is currently the safest city in Scotland and the fourth safest overall in Great Britain. I like Dundee. It's a city with a lot of character, a lot of pubs, and it's more cosmopolitan than you might expect. Number 2, Glasgow. The largest city in Scotland, a bustling metropolis of around 650,000 and then over 1 million in the greater Glasgow area. People make Glasgow is the slogan here. The locals are friendly, but cross them at your peril. Glasgow was, in its heyday, considered the second city of the empire for its industrial output and in particular its shipbuilding. It's well known for the Old Firm football teams, the biggest two football teams in Scotland. First of all, we've got Rangers here. They've won 55 league titles in total, and their arch rival Celtic. They've also won 55 league titles, but have absolutely dominated Scottish football in recent years, and they have a European Cup to their name as well. The national stadium is also based in Glasgow, that's called Hampden Park. Glasgow's shopping areas and the city centre are still very vibrant. You'll see all sorts of going on there, especially late at night. There is some dated brutal architecture, and George Square, the main square, is currently having a makeover as of 2025. And some buildings, well, they're well beyond the makeover. But there are some absolute gems in Glasgow. The Necropolis is probably my favourite cemetery in Britain. I've got some imposing Victorian architecture here. The murals are all over the city centre. We've got super modern highbrow shopping here, the Armani store. And of course the fella with a traffic cone on his head. Glasgow was so close to getting #1 spot. Number 1, and I'm sure you've already figured this out by process of elimination, it's Scotland's capital, Edinburgh. Edinburgh has a population of just over 500,000 in the city and about 925,000 in the urban area. Edinburgh welcomes around 5 million tourists per year, and boy do you notice it, especially during the summer months. Dean Village here is perhaps one of the more photogenic spots, along with the castle of course and the Royal Mile. And then you've got the view over the city from the extinct volcano, Arthur's Seat in Holyrood Park. There's loads of museums, galleries, pubs and restaurants in Edinburgh. Architecturally speaking, it's like walking around in some kind of gothic fantasy world. This is how they keep the flowers so ornate in Edinburgh. Buildings that would be the focal point of any other city are just par for the course in Edinburgh. Sports-wise, the football teams are Hibernian, aka Hibs, or the Hibbies. They play in the suburb of Leith. And their rivals are Hearts of Midlothian, aka Hearts, or aka the Jam Tarts, or the Jambos. The home of Scottish rugby here is Murrayfield. It holds 67,144 spectators. From Sean Connery to Alexander Graham Bell to Robert Louis Stevenson to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Edinburgh has really left its mark on the world. For me, the reason Edinburgh tops this list is that it's a true world-class destination, one that everyone from outside the country should visit before all others. But you should also visit the other 7, you won't regret it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. There's plenty more ranking coming your way, so please do remember to subscribe.